The Bundesliga is often associated with two major German clubs, Borussia Dortmund and Bayern München. For the past many years, Bayern München has been getting on ahead of Borussia Dortmund. However, Borussia Dortmund in itself has been winning titles in its history and in recent Bundesliga history. However, this season, halfway through, there's two major clubs that are also vying for the spot, RB Leipzig and Borussia Mönchengladbach. For the past 7 straight years, Bayern has won the Bundesliga. However, Dortmund did pose a serious challenge last season, narrowly losing out to Bayern by 2 points. Alongside Dortmund, who posed a good challenge, Leipzig and Gladbach have been building up based off their performances last year. And this culminated into this season, where both teams, Leipzig and Gladbach, are first and second, respectively. Gladbach has one of the biggest history out of the two clubs, considering that they were founded in 1900 and boast 5 titles, and the most recent one from the 1976-1977 season. And they're looking towards to reaching that top position again this season. RB Leipzig, on the other hand, is more of a new force in the German top league. Established in 2009 and owned by the Red Bull Empire. With their lead striker Timo Werner, they have produced a pretty solid result in the past couple of seasons, and they're looking to claim their first title in their entire organization's history. If you just look at this picture right here, you can see that Dortmund's Lucien Favre, who is facing heavy pressure due to the lack of results, is not able to have a big impact as it did last season, although it can clearly change as there's still 17 matches left for all the Bundesliga teams. You do notice that Borussia Mönchengladbach and Leipzig have been moving up and showing a strong performance. Both teams did show a strong performance last season, and they were in some parts number 1 in the league, but it seems to be different this round. With new coach Marco Rose, Gladbach have some key players that they will definitely rely on. To start off with, we have Marco Rose, who is the new manager this season for Borussia Mönchengladbach and has started a good series of runs. And there are some other key figures, such as Matthias Ginter, the Germany international defender, and a key versatile player for Gladbach who is kind of unsung with his achievements. And then we have the two youngsters who are both 22-year-olds, Bril Embolo and Marcus Thuram. The two have together netted 12 goals and 7 assists. And there are some other key players as well as those two. We have Nico Elvedi and Jan Sommer. Jan Sommer so far this season has saved 61 shots and is a core part of Borussia Mönchengladbach defense, as well as Matthias Ginter in preventing those goals getting into the Gladbach's net. As well as Nico Elvedi, who is a key part in making sure they have the ball and get good passes in. For example, he has 96% successful passes, which will be important for Gladbach to keep going and maintain possession and play with the ball and keep pushing. Leipzig also have some key players which will aid them for the title race. For example, they also do have a new manager like Marco Rose, who is beginning his first season, Julian Nagelsmann, who was the former head coach of Hoffenheim. And in his history at Hoffenheim, he did perform pretty well, has solid tactics, and most impressively, he's only 32 years old. A pretty young manager. And they too have some key figures. For example, their two defenders, Dayot Upamecano and Ibrahima Konate. Like Ginter, they play a key role in having a solid defensive line. And that's even further supported by a solid front with players like Timo Werner and Marcel Sabitzer both on form and scoring a good, solid amount of goals to keep Leipzig pushing on for that title. And to touch back on those two solid defenders in the back, even Lewandowski was able to praise them. While talking about them, he was said to quote, "But there are other players who have impressed me. Leipzig have two very good center backs in Dayot Upamecano and Ibrahima Konate. However, if they are looking to have a more solid future, there is a lot of transfer interest from many clubs seeking such a solid and reliable defender in Upamecano in particular, due to his consistency and solid defensive performances. But that doesn't mean they won't face a tough challenge from the reigning champions in Bayern München. With the new head coach, who will be staying till the end of the summer, Hansi Flick, he has been looking as if to turn around the poor performances that were earlier in the season. And adored by many players, he will have a solid locker room that will support him, with many players such as Lewandowski, Müller, and the Brazilian Coutinho. While speaking with the media, Coutinho was quoted to say, "Flick is doing a really great job. He has the potential to be Bayern head coach for even longer, even beyond the summer." and Coutinho himself, who has regained form from his Liverpool days, will be a key force for Bayern if they are to keep pushing and reclaim that title for a seventh year coming, and ending the hopes of Gladbach reseeking its glory days and RB Leipzig seeking its first title win.